Good evening, everyone. What's up? Just ate a satisfying meal and topped it off with a meaty dessert. This is Mr. Hata speaking. Previously, there was a rant on gym class. Today is another school rant, and today is a rant on high school. Ugh. There may have been a rant on high school earlier, but still, there need it's 2015, and there is a need for more school rants now because school hasn't done anything to improve themselves at all whatsoever. Ugh. So in high school, everybody's required to take certain classes. And some of the classes are just utterly useless, just like gym class. And gym class is one of them. That alone had to get its own rant, 17-minute long rant from how useless it was. Okay, so the classes that are utterly useless: health class, politics class, economics class, and yeah. Why on earth do people have to take health class? Health class doesn't, people already know about health. They don't need to know even any more about health. Stop making people take health class. It was a semester long and it was boring. And plus, if one didn't do their work, they'd fail. How on earth did everyone manage to pass that class? It's a miracle. Ugh. Why on earth do people have to pass this class? It's a class. Who cares about a class? It's just a class. And besides, people already knew about health since elementary and middle school probably. So stop making it people take it in high school. Ugh. Yeah. So people could have failed the class, yet they didn't. Wow, what a surprise. That class shouldn't even exist, period. The second class, politics class. Ugh. The tests were torture. One couldn't even study for them. They were based off all the class discussions. And plus, everyone did so well on those projects that there was almost no point in even having a project at all if everyone was doing well on them. However, at least it did teach something. Like, it actually did help people learn more vocabulary when, like, one is doing a project on alternative fuels or drugs or illegal immigration. It actually enables them to learn what they're actually looking at. So that was beneficial, but still, no tests, stop making people do community service. People don't have time for community service. They're only living in a community because of their parents. They don't choose to live there. Stop it. Why do people have to do 10 hours of community service? Why? They don't need to. Besides, and why does it have to be acceptable by the teacher? Why does the teacher have to write a signature that they know that the student is doing it, or the student does it without the teacher knowing? They don't get any credit. Why? They did the community service. They did the community service. What if they run out of time? What if there's nowhere to do the community service? Ugh. Yeah. That class, thank goodness that class was over. That class was pure torture. Ugh. What's another class? Oh yeah, economics class was one of the most forgettable classes of all time. And everyone kept saying it was like one of the easiest classes ever. Oh, come on. There were 4 unit tests, a little bit of homework. That's all it was unit tests with common sense multiple choice questions and writing. And everything was just completely and utterly forgettable. Like there was over 100 vocab words in total, nothing remembered. The only redeemable quality was at least it taught some like vocabulary, such as the words tiresome, taxable, and a few others. And incorporation. That was it. It didn't really help at all. It was a waste of a semester, just like politics class almost was. If they really wanted to have politics class that badly, why didn't they just make it like a 6-week class of a project instead of making it a whole semester? It could have been reduced to half the amount. It could have been reduced by half the amount, and it would have helped one at the same time. Ugh. Another class. That was garbage. Seriously, how many classes are they making people take now? Oh, and don't even get started with the projects. Like an English class or language arts class, whatever it's called. How on earth are people doing so well in those projects? Why aren't people failing them? If people are getting freaking A's and B's on them, is this even a high school level? It's not even challenging enough if people are doing that well on them. For it to be challenging or at an appropriate level, people would have to be getting D's and E's and barely C's on those. That's actually a high school level. And yet everyone's just getting A's and B's, and pretty much over half the kids are just getting A's. Like, really? Why? Why don't they be more strict on the grading process and force people to actually write well for once? Well, they actually kind of teach people to write, but still, it's not as they don't do as well as they could have at doing that. Ugh. The other classes. Oh no. Why? Why on earth do pop quizzes have to exist? There was already a rant on pop quizzes, but that still needs a rant. Why on earth? What's the point of a pop quiz? A pop quiz is just a quick quiz that is unexpected on what one has read the day before, and yet none of the material is ever brought up ever again. What did that do to benefit someone? Let's see. One would know. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. No redeemable qualities whatsoever. Utterly useless. Get out of here. And the exams. Why on earth are the exams so short? There was already a rant on exams back in December, but this is a rant on everything. The exams, why are they so short? They shouldn't just be an hour and a half long or 2 hours. They should be like 5 or 10 hours long. And what's up with all the multiple choice? The multiple choice, there's just too many common sense multiple choice questions. No wonder why people are doing too well on that stuff. Hang on a bit. Like, seriously, do they even know how to make tests at all now? Like, it's no common. This is high school, not elementary school. Common sense is for kindergarten, not high school. This is high school, not level 1. This is beyond the basics. Well, this is kind of beyond the basics, but not as much. Dude, even at least there's writing, but the test should be just all writing and no multiple choice. And exams, people should be thinking they're easy. An exam isn't supposed to be easy. It's supposed to be a challenge, not a given. Wow. This education system is really behind on what it's supposed to be. What's next? Are they just going to pass everyone for showing up? Let's hope not. Ugh. What's next? Ugh, grades. Grades, all people care about is grades. All grades are, and there's going to be a rant on grades, maybe. All grades are a number out of 100. That's all a grade is. And all people think are good grades are freaking A's. That's all people think of a good grade is anything above a 95. They think even 80 is a bad grade. Come on. School isn't supposed to be that easy. It's school. This is not freaking kindergarten. This is not kindergarten. This is not first, or second, or third grade. This is high school. Enough of this garbage already. That's enough. Enough is enough. What else is there? Oh yeah, and in the grade point average system. Why on earth? Here's how the grading. The grading should be only core classes and exams. That's it. That's all. That's what a grade should be. A grade shouldn't include electives because everybody. But all the grades should be our core classes, because those are the classes that have education in them. These music classes barely have any education in them. They have some, but they're just bailout classes because nobody's gonna fail. The only time people can fail one of those classes is by not showing up at all. People will get literally a C just for showing up every day. But however, in most of those core classes, people will fail if they don't do anything, which they deserve to if they do nothing. That's the reason why some people don't have like below 70 on their grade point average. School systems. In America, stick to one school system. Stop having all the states just doing whatever they dang well please. At least France actually follows the BAC, which is what every kid in high school has to take to graduate and do really well in it. America just needs to stick to one education system and do well in it. They need to have like one exam for everybody to take junior and senior years that are challenging enough where people aren't going to just stick around all day and do nothing all day long. Ugh. No wonder why America falls flat on its face. Everyone just thinks the school's so easy, and it's like the easiest thing they've ever done, literally. And plus, they're not learning probably as much as they could have. Although learning doesn't stop. At least the math classes, some math classes do what's appropriate. English class could do better. Science class is probably being appropriate. The foreign language classes are just doing poor. Once one stops doing level 1, like Spanish or French, everything's like forgettable. The vocab is so poorly incorporated, poorly taught, not used enough, not as usable. No wonder why people just forget everything that they've learned for Spanish and French, etc. It wasn't taught well enough at all. No wonder why America just fails at doing foreign language. It's so poorly taught. Everybody just gets like an A, B, or C just for knowing just a little bit. Too much common sense stuff exists, even in high school and college levels. America, grow up, and please change yourselves with your educational systems. Ugh. Like, here are the electives: music class, art class, etc. And nobody ever fails them. They need to be harsh on those music and art classes. They need to actually grade people based on ability and not by just participation. Stop grading people by just participation. It doesn't mean anything if everybody gets an A in that class. It means nothing. It means that literally even the dumbest person in the world could do it, which we don't even know who that is. Come on. This is not socialism. This is not elementary school. This is high school. Do people even know how to even work on grading process now? No, apparently not. No, they don't. If they're still doing that old school stuff, they're still not. Come on. School now. Ugh. And there's school systems that fail. Like Detroit's school system, their high school system is so poor that people don't even know how to read and write above the level of a 5th grader. And their literacy is so low that they can't even read anything above the level of elementary school. That's sad. But the suburban schools are doing pretty well, but they could do a lot better than what they're doing. So seriously, stop it with all the grades and all the unnecessary classes. And stop grading all those electives. They're electives. They're not supposed to be bailout classes like they're treated as. That's the only reason why people aren't having a lower GPA, because they just get like 100 just for doing enough in an elective class. That's not how a class is supposed to work. A class is supposed to be educational, not if one shows up, they get an A kind of theory. Sorry, this is not play school. This is school. It's supposed to be serious, not a joke. Ugh. High school, yeah, and what's worse, senior year feels so boring. Literally, one feels like they're never going to get out of here. A whole year, they're trapped in school, and if they don't, what's fearsome is that if they don't do their work, they don't graduate yet. Everybody's so smart in school that they think even passing is easy despite they have senioritis. Bull! They don't have senioritis if they're passing. Senioritis is when they're close to failing. Now people are beginning to have junioritis. What on earth is wrong with people in school these days? Yeah, and this is going to be said for a second time. People should just graduate in March and never have to come back. So seniors should only have one semester, and that should just be their core classes, English and whatever. Maybe that little politics class and whatever, a few electives of their choice, and whatever math class, maybe a science class, maybe for credit. And it should just one semester, make the diplomas. They should have their graduation in the beginning of March. Graduate in March, leave. That's how it should go. So they can just rest. It's time for them to sleep so they can get fat until summertime when they start working. That's a better school system right there. Stop forcing people to come every day and just make them suffer because they don't want to come. Like literally. No wonder why American schools fail, because they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. Instead of teaching people, they're making people dumber sometimes. Not even kidding. Ask Tyler Tricer 2 is back and Mermaid Sarah 6. They were Skype guests a few days ago. That's all there's to say for this rant on high school. See one in the next school rant. Good